Hey, I'm Emma Upton, and this is the map to the real thing, the strategy you've been starving for. If you've done all the work, the therapy, the mindset, the branding courses, but it still can't seem to find a way to bring your real work into something clear, something tangible, something fully alive, this series is for you. I built my thing from the depths of an anxious, overthinking hole with brand new baby twins, a husband who worked away, and a full time job as a school teacher. It made zero logical sense, but somehow it worked. I hacked the system and now I'm handing you the map because the truth is, your thing isn't missing, it's just misunderstood. And in this series, I'm walking you through the exact process I use with women who can do everything with their eyes closed, on 3 hours sleep, and still outperform everyone around them, but who are tired, who need a hug, and who refuse to let their dreams die. This is how you take that whisper of a thing, the actual thing you're here to do, and turn it into something real with wings, with roots, with renaissance, and with wild results like making £10,000 in the first month of monetizing my work. What? It's real strategy, but it also starts with you. And if you're listening in real time, I've opened up a handful of free map portal spaces. So you can actually do this one-to-one with me, having the time of our lives. The link is in the show notes, but for now, let's drop into today's episode. This misconception wrecked my life for a very long time, so I've dedicated an entire one of the 12 dirty dozen to it, and I'm going to explain it now. And it is for you if you have accidentally gone down the path of believing in your work so existentially that you were listening to people that obviously had success, and bro marketing has become something that you're like, oh, maybe that is what I'm meant to do, and you find yourself and you're like, ugh. Okay, this works, but what? The concept of burning your boats. Even just saying it, because I've heard so many people say burning your boats. So it happens, this concept happened after a big moment. And you know this moment where you decide, like, okay, I'm going to do it. God, this has been plaguing me. It has been bouncing around my brain. I know that I'm going to tap out of this existence. Like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Oh God, am I doing it? Yes, I'm doing it. You lit the match, you burnt the bridge, you told everyone, right, this is it. You left your job. Maybe you started or you launched publicly and you were doing it quietly to strangers. And now everybody that knows you kind of knows what you're about. And there's this pressure on you to perform and to get it right. And now, because of this declaration, this line in the sand that you have to make in order to for your work to truly be successful, I always imagine it like a beacon going off. You're a body of light anyway, just by the sheer genetic makeup of you cells and how they radiate. But it's like that light that you radiate inherently just went off. And there was a whole system alarm that went out to the universe being like, she's for reals. She doesn't want to go about it in half-ass measures. She's for real. And she's doing the actual work rather than just let's get the surface level stuff. Okay, let's go. It feels like a lot, and you're staring at your phone like it owes you money. And you're pacing the kitchen between your Instagram posts and you're refreshing and you're refreshing. Like, why doesn't anybody like it? Oh God. And you're wondering if maybe you should have waited or maybe you should have gone and spoke to your therapist rather than actually launch the thing. Underneath all of that buzz and the boldness, there's a quiet, nagging panic of holy smokes, is it too late to back out now? And so much of this comes from that we're presented with eradicate all options that are available to you so that you can't retreat, so that you can't return. It feels like you should be proud, but if you're being honest, it feels like you've trapped yourself. And this is why, and it's the strategic trap. They told you to leap. They told you to go big or go home. Like that's the way that it has to be. And I get it, to burn your boats and never look back. I understand that logic. It's necessary. And also, so you did it. You deleted the backup plan. You ripped off the band-aid. You even posted like, I'm ready to be seen. I've been resisting this and now I'm here because you were back off the call off the back of a call with your mentor and you were pumped up and you're excited, like, yes, let's do this. But instead of feeling powerful, you're panicking every time the algorithm coughs. You're beginning to second guess your products, your offers, you're pouring energy into proving you're committed instead of actually building something steady in the background. And it's not because you're flaking. And it's definitely not because you're bad at this, despite what Francis is telling you, but it's because nobody ever taught you how to build from the anchor instead of the adrenaline of, oh my God, there's no other options. Let me just pour everything into this until it succeeds. The truth of this situation is you do not need to burn your boats. Take it from somebody who did this slower and steadier than most people ever would want it to be. Your job is to build a boat that feels so secure, you know it's got you and you know it's going to carry you and you don't even need to worry about it like any alternate boat. You're like, I'm not wasting my energy peeking out there. Look at this. I'm riding this boat. This is my boat. So to get to that place, which operating the series of how my work came together just very quickly because I was finding these examples so useful for my brain that resists everything being like, yeah, that's cute for you, but no, I cannot. I had a mental breakdown pretty much, but I was so high functioning that my brain was like, no, we're not doing that. We can function through anything. So my body stopped working. That was like my mental breakdown in physical form. Nobody knew what was wrong with me. So I went to traditional therapies. I went to the more Eastern spiritual work, and none of them worked. They all helped, but I was like, well, this can't be it. And so inside that, I started to develop my own formulas, my own strategies, my own methods for navigating this crippling, literally, anxiety and overthinking that I didn't realize was there. So I started to do this for me. And then it really started to work. And people would notably say, I went back to my doctor's with a little boy that had an ear infection. One of my boys did. And she was like, what the hell happened to you? Because the last time she saw me, I was in the pits of whatever the hell it was, an awakening, which does not feel like waking up. It feels like being dragged down a hole backwards. I was like, well, I started figuring stuff out and I've developed these strategies. She was like, I need to know about this. Like, so the more I looked in on what I was doing, and people could see that difference, the more I started to invite people in, being like, well, do you want to learn as well? And I was a teacher at the time. There was a lot of stressed out teachers. So we started to like meet together after school or at lunch times and we'd have lunch dates together and it started to work on other people. Then I brought it into online and people were really interested. So then I started to develop like, well, a coaching company where not only could I meet with my friends and my family, but people outside of that could come and connect with me and learn. People wanted to. Then I started to develop programs. Then I wrote it into a book. Then I've started a podcast. Like it's grown into this thing. At no point did I say, I'm burning all my boats. This has to work, or because I would have just probably gone back to day one of being anxious and I would not have been able to function. So asking yourself, what would change if I started building like the dream was already mine? If I started and the brain will limit you here because it can't see beyond your reality, no matter how many times it sees it in other people's lives, because it's not yours and it hasn't directly experienced it, it will be limited. Don't let that put you off because it expands as you do. What is the biggest expansion that you can get behind right now? Be there and be with that and say, what would change if I started building like this dream was already mine, this version of this dream? Don't push too far, being like, because the brain will be like, no chance. Not one day, not if you hit 10,000 followers, not if you hit £10,000 months, not when your follower count grows. What? What would shift if you started from the belief that this is already happening? And you don't need to burn the boats. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need to invest in a £10,000 mentor. You don't need to do any of those things. You have to start focusing on you and your work and start building that boat without any distractions, like arsing around with fire and arson, as much as I love fire, and burning down stuff. No. Be so dedicated and determined to the construction of your own boat, your own work, what you're here to do. then nothing else matters. Obviously, your friends and your family and all the important people, they matter the most. They're on the boat with you. To do this practically, I want you to write down one move you've been putting off. That you've been saying to yourself, I won't do that until I feel ready. That move is part of the construction of your boat. And the brain says, yes, but I have to burn all the other boats until I can do that. What if that wasn't as true as your brain is making out? Because it's not. What if actually you dedicated yourself to that construction, that move right now, today? Because that is the construction of your boat, of your work, of your reason for being here. You're like Noah. You're meant to be building an ark. I've never thought of that metaphor before. But yeah, maybe that's what the whole story is about. I don't know. That's a different podcast episode. Now ask, what would it look like? Oh, just be with me here because the brain will want to resist this. And so much of the work is the anxiety-free fine formula of noticing that resistance and allowing it to exist whilst also being curious about what if I could answer this question? If you've got a brain like me, be here. What if I could answer this question? What would it look like if you got down to business with your arc? And if you believe that the dream was already yours, if it already existed, notice any noise that's there and then come back to that question, but what if? And then go down to the smallest, scrappiest, least performative version of that move. Because we've taken away the trio of terror. We've taken away ego when we get down to the essence of what's a really rubbish, roughneck version that I would be reluctant to share with people because I want it to be this idealized t-shirt, shirts, collection kind of version. What would a really scrappy, not so beautiful version of it be? Not to prove anything, not to force momentum, just to remind your nervous system, you know what? We're safe to build this slowly, steadily, like it matters, because it bloody well does. This is the work we do in Map the Thing. And if this hit you in the gut, maybe you've been trying to prove your commitment with panic instead of your presence. In Map the Thing, we rebuild the vessel, we rebuild the arc, not from urgency, from the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, not proving, not pushing pivots, just the work anchored and real and ready. If you would like the quiz link, which is free to the map where you get a deeper dive into each of the 12 dirty dozen that I'm covering in this strategy reset, in these strategy reset episodes, then message me map over on Insta. The link is in the show notes and I will see you in the next episode because you're doing beautifully already. So if this episode hits something in you, if you're nodding along like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for, here's what I want you to know. This is the first spark. And right now I'm on a mission for the rest of 2025, which isn't as far away as you think, to help 100 women bring their thing into life. Not just an idea, but something real, something tangible, something with wings. Right now I've cleared the space. And just like my 4-part process has shown me, I'm all in with this right now. So I'm offering these 1-hour map portal sessions for free. It's me and you for an hour. Name the thing, finding what's been in the way, and you're going to exhale and go, okay, that's it. Mapping exactly how it wants to live inside the world so that you know where to focus your energies to make it really real in the easiest possible way. If that sounds terrifying and delicious all at once, the portal link is in the show note details. Fill it in. I'll read every word and I'll get back to you personally after the session. Let's actually begin. I can't wait to see you there.